Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
Hey, what's up, Clyde?
What's up? Zaron.
Yes.
Do you know what's ridiculous?
Oh my God, I do, Elizabeth.
Hit me.
DNA.
That is so ridiculous.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it. Roll credits.
Okay, bye.
So, but
we'll
honestly,
be here to talk back. This is brought to you by...
The thing I wanted to tell you about is I've been.
This is a production of iHeartRadio.
Science is like a thing I care about, as you know, right?
I know.
And I get really bothered now because of how people are doing science. It was bad enough when it was like, oh, how do I fight to get a grant? Like publish and perish. Right now, it's like my science is actually AI, and I'm going to have an NFT, and it's just like so annoying because everything's being compromised. So I want there to be real science, and the gender stuff has made it also a lot of science be corrupted now because they're trying to use stuff. So like, I just like to prove to people that we scientists do not know fully all the stuff that everybody who doesn't know science is so certain about.
Yeah.
Even if you ask the scientists, they're like, actually, we don't know that for certain.
Right.
Please stop telling the people that this is, for instance, there was this story, right, about this woman. She had a baby with her husband, right? Then for whatever reason, she gets a DNA test. And then the DNA test comes back that the father is not the father. And the mother's like, no, it has to be you. I didn't sleep with anyone. He's like, yeah, right. Who was the father?
Right.
And so he's like, they get another test, right? And then they get tested again and again. Every single time it comes up that he's not the father and it's somebody else. And he's getting pissed, right? So the family, they get divorced, right?
Yeah.
It's bad. And then the father doesn't want to have anything to do with his child. It's not his. It's evidence of his wife's cheating, right?
Yeah.
So he then, like, for whatever reason, they don't talk. Years later, another DNA test is done on this same child. And they're able to get this man's, DNA, I guess, or maybe just use an old sample. And they prove that the father is actually the uncle of this guy's brother. This guy's like, I don't have a brother. I'm an only child.
Wait, what?
So the mother knows this. She knows that her ex-husband has no siblings. So she's like, no, that can't be right.
Like someone adopted out?
No, Elizabeth. You know you love parasitic twins?
Oh, God, I do.
So this guy in utero had a twin brother that he ate or absorbed, and then it's still in his body. His DNA is floating around in his body. You can find it in different parts of his body. So apparently a lot of it settled in his testes because he made the sperm, his brother made the sperm that impregnated his wife. So
what is that, a chimera?
Yeah, chimera. So you have his parasitic twin fathered his son or his child.
Wait a second. I'm trying to the gears in my brain are trying to
A man's unborn twin fathered the child that caused him to get divorced because of
his twin.
DNA testing and all of our certainty that the DNA says that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Don't be so certain about this stuff. The DNA people, which they should probably tell you this, is it's not an exact science.
Right, exactly. Wow.
Because of things like this.
Did the couple get back together, or is it just too late?
I wish I had that update for you.
Water
Isn't that
under the bridge.
ridiculous?
Wow. That's 100% ridiculous.
Yeah, like mind-blowingly ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. Now I'm going to be like, you know what else is ridiculous? Repeated maulings.
Repeated maulings?
Maulings.
Ugh.
This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
I know you heard that.
Let me preface this story with the fact that no one gets arrested or sued.
Okay.
Which is kind of shocking when you hear it.
Oh, really?
There are so many crimes and OSHA violations that just never get reported.
Naturally.
Yeah.
I've worked on a lot of job sites like that.
I assert that there are plenty of crimes here. But like I said, no one gets arrested. No one appears in court.
So no one goes before a judge, yeah.
No, I just want to get that caveat out of the way.
But there is a crime.
Oh, lots.
It's not one of my stories where like, Zaron, this is a crime against nature. Yeah.
This is, yeah. Okay, so in other news, you gotta love Tippi Hedren.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just to change gears there.
Yeah, why not?
You
know who also loved her? Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, yeah. She's an actress, model, insanely interesting woman.
Yes.
She's still kicking, 94 years old.
Good on you, Tippi.
Right?
She lives up here, doesn't she, Northern California?
No, Southern California.
Oh, Southern
as far as
California?
I understand.
Oh, I don't know.
I might be wrong.
I don't know.
I haven't doxed her.
Elizabeth, I do not know.
You know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
None of us know. Just like real scientists, we don't know.
Exactly.
She's Melanie Griffith's mom.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Dakota Johnson's grandma.
So much I don't know.
Don Johnson's former mother-in-law.
Whoa.
Yeah. So she started out as a model in New York City.
Good place to do
The
it.
Big Coyote.
Better than Kansas City.
Yeah. It's way better. She was successful. She was a cover girl.
Good.
And then, so she's married to this guy named Peter Griffith. She marries him. He's an actor, not Peter Griffin,
Family
the
Guy?
cartoon from Family Guy.
That would be difficult.
She did not marry a cartoon.
Two-dimensional love is really
with
difficult.
a different name,
Yes.
Peter Griffin.
Okay.
This is Peter Griffith.
Thank you for clearing that up for me.
Oh,
I was
no
totally
problem.
picturing them together. I'm like, I bet they're a cute couple.
I
shipped
found
them.
out about it, and I got really confused, and I walked in circles for about 3 hours.
That's why you were doing that.
Yeah, and then all of a
Okay.
sudden I was like, oh, wait, no, he's not a cartoon.
Yeah.
He's a real man.
I bet that freed you up.
With a real body full of blood and guts.
You're going the wrong way with this.
Okay, now I am. All right, so 1951. Peter was 17.
Yes.
And he was on a show called The Aldrich Family, not called Family Guy.
I think I've seen a title card.
Have you?
Yeah, like like on the internet pictures where they're like, "This used to be a show." I'm like,
Okay.
"That used to be a show."
Yeah,
I have no idea otherwise.
Tippi was 21 at the time. She was doing a walk-on role, and Tippi was trippy. She fell. She tripped on her own foot.
Okay.
And she fell into his arms, and then they fell in love.
A lot of falling.
I'm not joking. Like that's
true.
how they met.
She tripped into his arms and they fell in love right then
and then he
there.
looked at her and he was like, hubba.
Hearts coming out of his eyes.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I am warm for your form, and we will be together forever. So 1957, they had a daughter, Melanie, later known for her work in Working Girl.
Oh, Melanie Griffith.
Melanie Griffith.
Boom.
She award.
I love that movie, Working Girl.
She
Great
was
movie.
in the Milagro Beanfield War.
Is she really?
Yeah, Bonfire of the
Do
Vanities.
you know that I watched that in school, like in high school? Clearly, I did not watch it in that class because I had no idea she was in that.
No, yeah, exactly. So
I remember some scenes, some beans,
there are
like
beans.
a field.
Redford's in that. Yeah. Bonfire of the Vanities. She's also the voice of Margallo in Stuart Little too. I mean, that's probably where you know her best.
Probably. I was watching it the other day.
Yeah. So Tippi and the non-cartoon guy, they divorced in 1961.
So they divorced in 61.
Yeah, they divorced in 61. Tippi's holding it down as the breadwinner in the family.
She's got the talent.
And Peter, not a cartoon, he was a philandering drunk.
See, I knew it.
Yeah. Still, when he passed away in 2001,
Yes.
Tippi went to the funeral.
Oh, good on her.
Yeah.
She's a quality person.
Along with 4 other ex-wives.
Oh.
So that's just, okay, now we get
Says
Peter
a lot
Griffith.
about Peter
I
Griffith.
totally understand.
So he's kind of like, who's the guy from Hogan's Hero? Bob
Hogan?
Yeah, like that guy.
Hogan. So after the divorce, Tippi and Melanie, they moved to California.
Bob Crane.
Bob Crane.
There you go.
Yeah.
And they're in California.
They're in California. They moved to Sherman Oaks.
Oh, I know where that is.
Exact. Yeah.
Top of the valley.
Not cheap living.
No.
And it's kind of like Beverly Hills adjacent.
Yeah, sure.
Ish.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And her career.
You used to have a great mall.
Her career wasn't the same as it had been in New York.
I bet not.
No. And she starts to kind of panic.
Oh.
And they rented like an expensive house there.
Of course.
And because she's thinking she'll maintain it. Now she's not making the money. It's not really coming in. She gets a call from her agent.
She's an older model.
Yeah. Well,
on a new town.
yeah. Alfred Hitchcock had been watching the Today Show. And he saw her in a commercial for a diet meal replacement drink called Sego, S-E-G-O.
Dear God.
Apparently, it was 225 calories a can, and you were supposed to drink 4 a day. So breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner.
And a sensible dinner.
Totaling up. No, just not a sensible dinner.
That is the dinner?
The can's the dinner, so that you would eat 9,000 calories, or 9,000.
900, yeah.
900 calories.
Or 880.
Oh, yeah, 900 calories a day.
Totally.
So 225 per can.
225. I thought 220.
Yeah, 225. So you are only allowed 900 calories a day. And Hitch is like, that's great, but let's talk about the lady. So he loved her in the commercial. Yes. He's just captivated. And she's like,
could
please.
really hold a glass?
Please.
What was she doing?
She was very convincing, apparently. Like, she's playing this woman who's happy and breezy while also hungry as hell.
And Hitchcock's like, I have no interest in meal replacement until now.
And he's like, you know what? I want to sign her to a 7-year contract.
Wow.
Based on her slinging the early version of Slim Fast.
That's nuts.
Slim Fast that eliminates the sensible dinner.
When they still had like a Benzedrine in it.
Yeah. Yes. So Hitchcock, he made Tippi do a 2-day color screen test.
2-day, wow.
Yeah. And she was a trooper. She nailed everything. She had to do stuff from like his films that had already come out.
Totally. And he's switching outfits, costumes, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hitchcock gets like obsessed.
Yeah,
with her.
it's kind of known. It's
And
bad.
he asked Edith Head, the famous costume designer,
Great costume designer.
design clothes for Tippi, but not for like a movie or a TV show.
Just for Tippi.
Because she hadn't been cast in anything yet.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, this is for like her everyday private life.
Oh, starlet life.
Just make her beautiful.
Yes.
Which she already was, but dress her like a beautiful doll. Hitchcock taught Tippi everything that he thought she should know about the finer things. So like gustatory pleasures, food and wine.
Oh, like bone china.
Yeah. Production designer Robert Boyle once said, quote, Hitch always liked women who behaved like well-bred ladies. Tippi generated that quality. So it's like the country club set, I suppose.
And he's married to Alma at this point. I mean,
he totally is.
Wow.
So after all this to do, Hitchcock took Tippi to lunch at Chasen's in L.A.
Yeah.
You probably
Never
know.
been there, but yes.
You know, well, yeah.
Familiar with it.
You know that it was like the celebrity spot in Beverly Hills, kind of right on the outskirts, famous for its chili. I have the recipe for the Chasen's chili, yeah. And so
holiday party.
Ow! Just like blow it out for New Year's. Everybody's eating chili. I guess that's our new tradition.
Totally.
Chili for New Year's.
Exactly.
And we're going to do it like Sago, where it's like breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. Just chili. That's the 9,000.
And a sensible chili.
That's the 9,000 calorie dinner. Anyway, okay.
Okay, Chasen's.
Chasen's, famous for chili. Like the glamour of old Hollywood, it faded away and it left us in 1995. But at this lunch in 1961, Hitchcock's wife, Alma, as you said, Lou Wasserman, head of Universal.
MCA and Universal.
Yeah, they're there. At this lunch, Hitchcock gave Tippi a golden pin of 3 birds in flight. And it had like little pearls on it.
Oh, like for like a
brooch type thing. Yeah,
I got you.
And then he asked her if she wanted the leading role in his upcoming film, The Birds.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, that was her big screen debut.
Yes.
And her signature is amazing, by the way. It's like just as elegant as she is, but she draws little birds.
Are you kidding?
On her
me?
signature.
In her signature?
Yeah,
Really? To this day?
To this day.
Wow. I got to add some animals to my signature.
I'm going to do, a bear eating me.
Yeah, like a jaguar chasing a panther, chasing a penguin.
Perfect.
Because I got 3. So I remember at the 3. I need to have something at the end.
You do have
3
to have
animals.
3.
That's how
all
they'll know.
perched on top of the Roman numeral 3. Okay.
Right, descending in order
Done.
of size.
With a side of chili. In 1964, she married Noel Marshall.
Don't know who that is.
It was
Should I?
He was her agent at the time.
Oh, interesting.
And he was angling to do
Easy way to get the percentage.
Well, yeah. He's angling to do more.
Okay,
in
I
Hollywood.
bet. Sounds like
so
it.
he wants to produce. He wants to direct.
Oh,
like
God.
that old mantra.
Dear
I
God.
want to direct. So she did The Birds, and then she did Marnie with Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Remember, she has that contract.
Yeah, 7 years, right?
And like I said, Hitchcock, obsessed.
Yes.
So obsessed. He adored her, but he was also really controlling. Really controlling.
Obsessively controlling.
Yeah,
like
he wanted
not
to know.
in a good way.
No, he wanted to know exactly when she left the set.
Like a Pygmalion thing.
Where she went, who she went and saw, and like how she spent all her time. What did she eat?
Yeah.
And he would decide, okay, she eats this. This is who she can see. This is how she lives her
And
life.
back then in Hollywood, they were like decades deep in this type of behavior where they think it's normal. So everybody's going to help them.
Right. But Tippi's like, I'm not into it.
Yeah, good for her.
So she cut ties with Hitchcock.
Nice.
Many years later, she spoke out about sexual harassment she endured from him.
I bet.
Yeah. And that's really the main
But only
reason.
harassment, not like crossing a line?
Yeah, it was, pretty much.
Okay.
That was the main reason she wanted to get away from it.
Yeah, good for her.
And so after that split, though, her career wasn't so hot. And I've like wondered if he had a hand in that.
100%.
Yeah. But whatever. She's still getting work. It's just not at the level as before.
She's like starring on Love Boat?
Yeah.
Not that
it's just
bad?
like, well, let me tell you. Okay, so in
Please.
1969, these are examples. She filmed 2 movies back to back in Africa.
Okay.
Satan's Harvest,
Oh, God.
released in 1970.
Dear God.
And
Republic Pictures. Satan's Heart. Yeah.
Mr. King Street's War, 1973.
Oof.
So here's the Satan's Harvest synopsis. When his uncle is killed in a horrible animal attack, American detective Cutter Murdoch arrives in South Africa to inherit his ranching empire. Murdoch's Johannesburg homecoming begins with an unexpected bang as the Miami-based private eye steps off the plane plane, and a shot rings out. A man standing nearby is killed. Another uncle, Craig, and his son, Timothy, were passed over in the will, but in spite of this, have moved into the ranch. Cutter meets up with Marla Oakes, the daughter of an American game trapper, and once again, an attempt is made on his life. Soon afterward, Cutter and his friend Bates are beaten up and left for dead at the bottom of a mine shaft. It turns out that Craig, Timothy, and an older brother, Andrew, are part of an international drug smuggling outfit.
Of course.
And the ranch Cutter has inherited is used to grow marijuana. That's the synopsis.
He's deep in the green. So this sounds like a knockoff of like the books I like to read. Like
Yes.
I read Travis McGee books and they're great.
Yes.
But this sounds like a knockoff version, like where they have
Yeah.
like the Nick Carter to James Bond.
It is the most like someone did coke and wrote this script.
Yeah.
Like it just is all over the place. And
this is very much at the time was actually selling in the novel world, and
Satan's
these
Harvest.
movies get made. Yeah,
Satan's
wow,
Harvest.
it's like a Roger Corman style,
Yes,
but like more
yes.
international.
Well, then there's Mr. King Street's War.
What is that one?
Set in 1939, immediately prior to the onset of World War II, an American couple, James King Street and his wife, make their home and manage a wildlife preserve located
Always
between
with the wildlife preserve.
right? Located between Italian-governed Abyssinia and British Kenya as war approaches. King Street's sole assistant is a native and his one-eyed brother.
What?
King Street and his spouse will not accommodate either the English or Italians threatening their spread, antagonizing the commanding major of the latter group, and prepare to halt the invasion of their property.
So a defiant Cecil Rhodes story, but between
Apparently.
Kenya and
Well,
Ethiopia.
you get the drift. Like, so this is what she's doing.
Totally. There's going to be an animal preserve or sanctuary.
Right.
There's going to be a fight in Africa to preserve some
Yeah.
land.
So she and her husband Noel, they're in Africa for a while.
Yeah, I
And they
imagine they
loved
have
it.
an animal sanctuary.
They loved it. They went on safari in Mozambique.
Okay.
Have you ever wanted to do
Oh
safaris?
my God! Yeah, except for, I wanted with a camera, but not a gun. But yes,
Yeah,
I don't.
I just want to leave the animals alone. I don't
Oh.
need to go tromping through their house. I get it. That's just
Yeah,
weird.
I don't want to be like in one of those like ice cream trucks that they drive through, like where the people are like and the animals run up and they're like,
people
"Hey,
drop their phones. Out of
totally."
it.
I'm
Yeah.
like, no, not for me.
Tippi and Noel, they went on safari. They saw something cool. They saw an abandoned game warden's house, totally overrun by lions. They're just
What?
taking it over. 30
Like
lions.
inside partying
Yeah.
on the roof.
Oh, yeah, totally. Barbecuing out back. Yeah, so 30 of them. They'd been driven there by poachers, and they were just like hanging out. It looked nuts.
I bet.
And so Noel turned to Tippi and he said,
I bet it smelled crazy
you
in
know,
there.
we ought to make a movie about this.
The lions?
Yeah.
Taking over.
Yeah. And Tippi told Variety later on, quote, "At the time, environmentalists were telling us that if we didn't do something right then to save the animals in the world, by the year 2000, they'd be gone. I became concerned about this issue along with my then husband, and we decided to do a movie."
We're gonna save the animals with
Through a movie.
It's like the whole like Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney. We're gonna put on a show.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to save the community center. So back in the wilds of Sherman Oaks, Tippi and Noel, they had a family dinner, them and their kids. Tippi's daughter, Melanie Griffith, Noel's sons, Jerry and John. The couple pitched the idea of the movie to the kids. They wanted it to be a family affair. And the kids are basically adults, by the way. Like,
Let me tell you the elevator pitch, kids.
yeah, exactly. They're like over 18
Okay.
at this point.
So they're not
early
like
20s.
pushing their peas around.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the kids at the table are down with it. They're like,
All right.
yeah, I'll
Yeah, why
totally
not?
do
Yeah.
it. Their brother Joel, who was not at the dinner, he's like, count me out. I don't have anything to do with this. But
Is
like he
Black
got
Sheep
on
Joel or just smart kid
well,
Joel?
He's smart, and he got on board later for like production design and
Oh,
art direction.
okay, never
They
mind.
pulled him in. They needed a crew, but no one with any sense would sign on. So they wound up getting people new to town and who like needed work and were kind of misfits in the business.
Oh yes.
And then there was the cinematographer, a wild man, a tough man to work with, a yeller. A man who would go on to direct an excellent movie called Speed,
What?
Jan de Bont.
Oh my God.
He was the cinematographer.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've heard he's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they had the cast, they had the crew, the human cast and crew at least.
Cool.
They needed lions.
Wait, they got the 30 lions. What
Yeah.
do they need
Well, no,
lions?
that was back on the.
I
that's
know,
what they,
I
okay.
know.
So let's take a break.
And they need trained lions. You can't just turn them loose on a set.
Oh, just wait.
Oh no.
Let's take a break. Let's listen to an obscene number of ads.
Okay.
For days. We're going to keep the lights on, basically.
Yes.
And when we come back, we'll talk lions.
Nice. Yeah.
Roar. That's the name of the movie.
What?
Roar.
Oh, you were just like talking to me? I thought you were giving me some energy.
I was just kidding. Well, it was like a twofer, right? Because I was doing the hand like roar.
Totally.
And then I was going to climb up on the table, but then my knees hurt, so I didn't. Roar. But roar is the name of the movie.
Oh my God, I love this. Yeah. Is that roar with an exclamation point?
It's an implied exclamation point.
Is it like all caps?
Yeah, it's like, no, I don't know. No. It's any way you want it, but it's basically roar. Okay. So Noel and Tippi, they needed lions and tigers and such.
For a movie called Roar, you bet your bottom dollar.
So they started talking to people in Hollywood who had lions.
Okay.
And these trainers all told them the same thing.
Yes, which is?
Trained Hollywood big cats are great on their own. But Tippi and Noel wanted at least 30 together, like they saw when they were on safari.
Gotta have 30. That's the numbers.
Yeah, and the trainers are like, you know what? Big no.
Yeah, no.
Big nope.
That's a pride of lions.
It is. And you can't work with that many cats at once. So not listening to what these experts were saying...
Yes.
The couple just starts buying up big cats.
I like their spirit.
Yeah. So they decided.
Just make it happen.
And then you know what? They're like, you know what? We don't want trained animals anyway. Yeah. Like, I want it to be realistic. I want the cats acting natural.
Totally. Do you think Henry Ford would have given us the car if he listened to people in the past?
Shove off. I don't want what you're selling anyway. So they
buy more lions.
They hit up zoos.
Give me your old cats.
Animal control. Circuses. Like jerks who thought that the animals would make a good pet, but now they're rethinking it.
I was like Vegas.
Yeah. So they go and they pick up animals from just wherever. Like ads in the paper.
It's like, how much for Montecore?
And they take them to their house in Sherman Oaks.
Wait, so just collecting?
Multiple large jungle cats hanging out in the house in Sherman Oaks. And
they're not trained as big cat keepers.
No. So when that got too crowded and the neighbors complained and
the
lions...
Do they have like circus cars where they just put in a couple...
hold on.
Oh, wow.
So the lions are trashing the furniture.
Oh, they're in the house.
They're in the house. They're eating the sofa. They loaded all the animals up and they took them to a compound that they bought in Soledad Canyon.
Okay, that's at least
good. It's like kind of between Palmdale and Santa Clarita.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
In the mountains north of LA for non-Californians.
Exactly. Largely uninhabited.
So you asked about did they take a circus trolley?
Sure. Yeah.
No. They loaded the animals into a station wagon.
I'm picturing like a circus train car.
No.
But the bars.
It just took a lot of trips in an early 70s.
We got a 70s Ford?
Station wagon.
Are you kidding me? With the wood paneling?
Yeah, they're like, load up, 2x2, Noah's Ark, get in here.
3 in the back.
So, Soledad Canyon, right?
Oh my God, this is nuts.
They bought land and a compound there from Steve Martin.
Okay, the banjo man.
Not that Steve Martin. Steve Martin, the working wildlife animal trainer.
Oh, that's Steve Martin. The one whose career I follow.
Yeah, exactly. So, of the compound, Tippi said, quote, "Our lions, tigers, elephant, leopards, and panthers, actually leopards in black coats rather than spotted ones, were joined by a few cougars." And then she also pointed out that, quote, "Their teeth are virtual petri dishes of bacteria, and being bitten is inevitable."
Wait, where did that come in?
Really
leapt to getting bitten and being real cool about it.
And so knowing all that.
You can only act like that when you haven't been bitten.
That knowledge was in her head.
Yes.
Swimming around. And still, she and Noel, her husband, bought up 150 big cats.
Wait a minute. You just said
jungle
150?
Cats. 150 on 40 acres of scrub land.
Where?
Some of the lions are like 500 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, how much is the fencing just for this?
The cost is outrageous.
Just the fencing.
Yeah. And so
then you get into like the meat, daily meat.
They turn this compound, this ranch, into the set for the movie. That's where they're going to film
This is New Africa.
This is New Africa. Okay. And they tried to get all Dyin and Dutton and work together and brainstorm the plot.
Oh, God.
And Noel was going to write the script. And the overall theme would be about protecting wildlife.
Okay.
And so they shop the idea around and no one wants to play the male lead. They're just like, this makes no sense. This is terrible.
This is a terrible vanity project.
I don't want to do anything with untrained, large, dangerous animals. Yes. So Noel's like, well, I guess I'll play the part.
Oh, no.
I'll do it.
Oh,
He's not an
no.
actor, by the way. He's an agent.
Yeah. He's an agent and now a screenwriter.
And he's dabbling in producer work at this point. So for the animal cast, we're talking...
Why didn't Griffith do it? He's the actor.
Well, he's long gone. He's drunk. He's married a bunch of other ladies.
Oh, right. They can't bring him back into the fold now.
No.
You owe us a solid. Get back here.
So the New Yorker said they had, quote, 132 big cats, 1 elephant, 3 Aoudad sheep, and a collection of ostriches, flamingos, marabou, storks, and black swans.
Wow.
Yeah.
No ibixes?
Well, not maybe they couldn't fit him in the station wagon.
Yeah, no impalas?
According to the Village Voice, there was, quote, a dangerous stipulation. None of the animals would be trained. They felt a cat should be a cat. At best, the beast would be socialized. Hedren and the family bottle-fed many of them from infancy and crossed their fingers that the 450-pound grown cat would remember not to pounce.
Now, imagine...
Well, hold on.
No, okay.
Wrote Hedren in her memoir, The Cats of Shambhala, so named for the preserve that they were forced to found when their neighbors kicked the cats out of Sherman Oaks. Quote, I did think that working with live lions might be preferable to live ravens. Like, I'm not sure about that, Tips.
Yeah, no, not at all, Tip. I can tell you.
And so none of them are trained. And the thing is, these animals, some of them they bought as babies, but they grow super fast.
Yes. And also, I mean, like, okay, let's just say you are on a job site and none of your fellow coworkers are trained. Yeah. That would be a nightmare. Yeah. Now imagine if they would eat you.
Right.
And
there
all
you
of
go.
them.
There you go. That's it. So we've talked about the basic framework of the movie.
Yes.
But what's the story?
Protect the cats.
You tell me, Zaron. Okay, here's how TV Guide describes it now. A woman brings her children to the African jungle for a visit with her long-estranged husband, an eccentric scientist who has dedicated the past several years of his life to fighting for the preservation of endangered species. A snafu results in the family being met not by the environmentalist, however, but a pride of ferocious felines. So I'm going to expand on this. So Noel, he plays Hank, the eccentric scientist.
Okay.
He's so dedicated to preserving these majestic creatures that he basically lives with them. Lions, tigers, leopards. All of this at a compound that he owns in Tanzania, a.k.a. Soledad.
This is the
Canyon.
story, yeah. Okay.
This is the story. So he hangs out there in the movie with his friend Mativo, played by an actor, Kyalo Mativo.
Sure.
The wife, Madeline, played by Tippi. She and her 3 young kids, Melanie, Jerry, and John, played by Melanie, Jerry, and John.
You're actors now. Congrats.
Yeah, they live in Chicago.
Here's your Taft-Hartley. You're a SAG member.
Totally. I mean, they just got lazy with naming the characters.
Yeah,
they're just like, all right, whatever.
They wanted them to turn when they heard their name.
Yeah, you don't answer to these other names. So they live in Chicago, but they decide to visit Hank in Tanzania. That's the setup. Hank goes to pick his family up at the airport, but Mativo stops him and is like, there's a committee coming to review the research grant that you got for this place. Like where you study all the animals. Yeah, so
I'll go get your family, you hang out here?
Well, no, like the grant committee shows up. There are all sorts of like lion fights.
It's a comedy of errors with lions.
And so the grant committee shows up. One dude named Prentice, he hates the lions. He just wants to shoot them.
Okay.
This is a committee about a research grant. And so
I want to shoot the subjects.
Yeah. Around this time, a fight breaks out between 2 lions. And Hank like breaks it up, but he gets his hand chomped in the script.
Okay.
Well, not really in the script. As Hank performs first aid on himself, the tigers attack the committee, and some of them get pretty messed up.
Wait, the tigers attack the committee?
Yeah, and they want nothing more to do with it, so they split.
I bet.
So Hank and Mativo, then they're like, okay, that's right, I forgot. We got to pick up your family. They go to the airport, but they get attacked by tigers on the way.
On the way to the airport?
Yeah, and so Madeline and the kids, they're there. They decide to get on a bus. And then they pass like ships in the night. So when they get to the house, it's just full of lions, tigers, cougars.
Totally. Animal attack.
The big cats, not the Orange County ladies of a certain age who go after younger men. Those cougars.
They are vicious.
So the lions, they're just like hanging out fighting and stuff at the house. There's a zebra carcass in front of the house.
Oh, wow.
Like, and the house is bonkers. The family's terrified.
Yeah.
Hank and Mativo, they go through all sorts of like animal attack hijinks until they finally make it back to the compound. And the family, they try and escape by boat.
There's a river?
There's a lake.
Oh, a lake.
And so they're going to go, I guess, to the other side of the lake.
Yeah, of course.
An elephant rolls up and just wrecks shop, like destroys the boat. And in the making of it, apparently, like they went through like 3 boats where they just had there was a trainer for the elephant. Yeah. And he's just like, you smash it up. Like you just do your business. Go nuts.
Treat it like a Monday you hate.
And oh my God, the elephant's just like grabs it in his trunk and slams it against the ground. So one of the kids in the script tries to escape on Hank's motorcycle, but the big cats come after him and he has to drive into the lake.
Okay.
And then the family, they swim across the lake and they break into another house to stay there. But the pride from Hank's place shows up and surrounds them. But they don't hurt him.
And don't forget about us, son.
And the family's like, well, you know what? I guess they're not 100% crazy. Maybe they're not so bad after all. So meanwhile, the grant committee members who want to kill some of the lions, they do so. But then they get killed by lions.
Of course.
Yeah. And so the whole family and Mativo, they head back to the compound, and Madeline and the kids decide to stay for a week. The end.
Why not?
That's the plot.
If you beat the tigers and the lions and the jaguars, you should get a week of vacation.
Zaron, this was not an easy shoot.
I bet not.
It cost a fortune before it even began.
I'm surprised we have Melanie Griffith. That she actually exists today.
I know. Food for the cats alone was $10,000 a week.
A week?
Yeah.
In 1970s dollars.
Yeah. But then they hit a jackpot. Noel had worked on a film as a producer, and it was a hit. That movie?
Yeah.
The Exorcist.
Did they have like a lot of meat?
Well, a ton of money.
Oh.
So now he's getting all this Exorcist money like pouring in so they can get started. Okay. And he just redirects it to the movie. It was around this time that Tippi did something that I referenced before. Remember how like she went and helped the Vietnamese refugees?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes up to like this place outside in like Gold Country where they had all these refugees. And then, she teaches them the nails there. She brings her nail tech. Anyway, so there's Tippi, this elegant, gracious woman about to film the gnarliest movie ever. Yes. So it's September 1976, filming begins. It was supposed to take 6 months and cost $3 million.
Wow.
When all was said and done, it took 5 years and it cost $17 million.
Damn.
The budget blows up, $17 million. They couldn't abandon the project. They had to try and make some money back.
Yeah, they got to recover.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So eventually, Roar became known as the most dangerous film ever made. And people also called it the most expensive home movie ever made. So John said, quote, this is one of the kids, there didn't seem to be a sense of urgency to ever get it done. Dad would film a scene for a week if he thought it could be better in some way.
So wait, he's lucky that the kids are like done growing, because otherwise you'd have really wild, uneven continuity.
Exactly. So we got 150 big cats, like 30 tigers, 10 leopards, a couple of cheetahs, a couple of jaguars. The rest are all lions.
Yeah.
An elephant or two, some zebras. Please keep in mind that this was not a one and done shoot like a documentary, multiple takes, as John said, of lion fights. So that basically the movie's just basically
no trainers.
Yeah, and it's just lion fights.
Do they just like have like, I don't know, a fire truck with cold water cannons that they aim at the cats?
They should just call the movie Lion Fight.
Right, totally. Lion Fight.
So
Lion Fight 2.
Noel, he's taking this like really seriously. And he's a taskmaster. He keeps everyone on these crazy schedules. This was his magnum opus. And like, to hell with safety. It's his family. But he's like, whatever. It's costing him an arm and a leg, sometimes literally. And so the family has to start selling stuff off.
Are they losing crew? Like, are people
people are quitting.
Getting sent to hospitals?
You'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah. So they sell all the properties they have.
Are you kidding? For this?
Sherman
Oaks. They go
Oaks,
full Kevin Costner, and they're like...
Everything. So that the only thing left is this compound.
Francis Ford Coppola, hold my beer.
Tippi sells a fur coat that Hitchcock gave her. I mean, they're just selling everything. The show has to go on.
Wow.
Then it got really bad.
Then it got bad?
Yeah. February 1978, towards the end of filming, there's this flood in the canyon.
Oh, no.
Because, like, Noel built the set on a dry creek bed in the floodplain. But then all of a sudden, rainy season comes.
Yeah, winter comes along.
And some El Nino year, right?
Oh, yeah.
So all hell breaks loose. Floodwaters destroy the set. 4 members of the sound team had to be rescued. And then there's this tragedy. 3 lions, including Robbie, who's like the star lion in the movie, they get shot and killed by sheriff's deputies and animal control after they escaped the property, headed to a trailer park. And like the officer's like, I don't know what to do. And then Noel and the family are like, you could have used tranquilizer darts.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So anyway, Noel finally finishes.
They're going to tell somebody how to take care of a big cat?
Yeah, they're like, you could have tranked them. They're like, yeah, they were ready to rip the door off of the trailer.
You could not have them here.
No.
We can all do this.
Yeah. They finished the movie. First, he tried to sell it as a serious adventure film. No takers. Then he does a little editing and he tries to pitch it for distribution as a family film. No. And then he's like,
change it to a family
I don't know.
film?
But then he makes it a comedy. A comedy. Okay. It took 5 years from when they finished it to get a distribution deal. And it was finally released in 1981. It only made $2 million at the box office. It was never released in the United States.
What?
No, like it came out in Germany and a handful of other countries.
Is that because of like the animal violations?
No one wanted it. They're like,
they just didn't have any interest.
And it got panned. Like they had a thing in the beginning, like no animals were hurt, but like
it's just
in
a
the
lie.
production of this film, no, it wasn't a lie, but it was like you're not counting the humans as those animals.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. So it gets panned. It was like, it's bonkers. There's no real plot. Daily Variety called it, quote, a born free gone berserk.
A born free gone berserk.
Yeah. And I tried to watch it.
Did you?
But it's not streaming anywhere.
Oh.
And it looks like I could buy a DVD, but it was like $120 and I don't care that much.
Yeah.
And I guess like there's some of the like, cult film theaters will every now and then.
Retrospective houses.
Yeah. Which I think that we should host a ridiculous crime showing at a theater of Roar.
Totally.
So let's make that happen. But there is a documentary called Roar, the most dangerous movie ever made. I highly recommend it.
You watched that?
Oh, I totally did. There are a lot of clips from the movie. They interview all sorts of people. It's great. Like seriously, watch it. It's so good.
Okay.
Please hold. We have some ads coming in right now. When we come back, I want to walk you through the actual fighting, the footage that was so out of control, and the things that made this the most dangerous movie ever made.
Yeah.
Okay, so Roar.
Roar.
Yeah, give it to me.
Roar.
Full-throated. Roar. Roar. That was good.
Yeah.
The script was terrible.
Yeah,
that was good.
Like
the script was terrible.
Well, they're both not that good. But anyway, so the agent wrote it.
Agent wrote it.
That's
and
kind of a red flag right
and
there.
directed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And produced it.
Yeah, no offense to agents.
He stuck his fingers in everything. So the script's terrible. It was a mess during production. Ragtag crew. The cast is all the director's family. Like, what made it so dangerous? Well, you got 150 untrained lions, tigers, cougars, leopards. You can guess what will happen. So before filming even started, Noel's son John went to the set at the compound, 40 acres and a lion. A lion named Tongaroo pinned John down and clamped his head on his jaw for 25 minutes.
Wait, what?
25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Steve Martin, not that Steve Martin, was finally able to distract the lion. So the lion's just sitting there with the kid's head in his mouth.
Yeah, just like,
just slobbering
is he taking
on
a
him.
nap for a part of this?
Just messing with him.
Just, I love the taste of kids' fear.
Steve Martin, not Steve Martin, distracts the lion. John like sort of slinks and slithers away and jumps into the lake.
Okay.
To escape him. He, of course.
And that's where we get that part of the plot?
Yeah, I think so. He's like, Noel's like, that's fantastic.
Get the cameras rolling.
So, of course, like, John goes to the hospital, gets 56 stitches.
56?
Yeah. And apparently...
So the tiger was just gumming him.
Oh, yeah. The cast and the crew, they became regulars at the hospital.
I bet.
Particularly Noel. They joked, like, we're going to name this the Noel Marshall Wing, like, because he was there all the time. John said of his initial mauling, quote,
initial mauling.
For 7 years afterward, I had to work with that full-grown male lion, and he tried to finish the job every time. It was interrupted, and he didn't like that.
Why did that lion hate you, sir?
I don't know. So, like, you can imagine getting mauled and almost killed before the movie even starts. And your dad, who is the director, is all, no big. Like, these things happen. Places, everybody.
Showbiz.
Yeah, it's showbiz, baby. And before you ask, no, this was not a union shoot.
No.
So if it had been, they would have had to have 260 trainers on set.
Yeah, insane amounts.
Yeah. And there's no way it would make it to principal shooting.
You couldn't afford it.
So this is 100% non-union production. So action. Noel got bitten through the hand by a lion on the first day of filming.
Nice.
The wound was so bad and so immediately infected that doctors thought they might have to amputate his arm.
Damn.
Yeah, they didn't. They stitched him up. They sent him back. He got bitten 10 more times on that very arm during production.
So, like sticking out like a sore thumb, but it's like sticking out like a lion bit hand.
Exactly. He's just like gashes and scars and open wounds. He got mauled a lot. So much that he got blood poisoning at one point from all the maulings.
Did he just smell tasty?
Well, and that poisoned blood, that's what the makeup artist used. Like, he had a makeup artist, and the guy's like, I can't replicate the actual blood here. So when you're seeing someone attacked by a lion in the movie and then bleeding, it's real. The blood's real.
They just used all his blood?
Or whoever's getting attacked.
Whoever's actually being attacked.
Whatever
it's
character's
just their
getting
blood.
chomped on, that's their blood.
So there was no props department for the blood.
It wasn't just John and Noel, though. Basically, everybody gets mauled at some point.
How?
So
How are they keep going?
Tippi got it in the head from a lioness named Cherries. Cherries. That sent her to the hospital. She came back with 38 stitches.
Cherries popping Tippi.
Exactly. And she didn't just mix it up with lions. She got her leg crushed by an elephant.
Oh,
Tippi Hedren.
God. Like crushed, like it stepped on it?
Oh,
like...
yeah. She contracted gangrene. She needed skin grafts at one point. Yeah.
Oh, Tippi.
Cherries got Tippi, but she didn't stop there.
Okay.
Zaron, close your eyes.
Oh, no.
I want you to picture it.
Eyes closed.
You are an assistant to an assistant director on the set of Roar, Noel Marshall and Tippi Hedren's vanity project. You are trying to break into the industry after selling Datsuns and Reseda for the last few years. You are brimming with excitement. This is a huge opportunity for you. So there you are, 3.5 weeks into production. You're at the family compound, sitting in a chair under an old oak tree, watching the crew set up for a shoot. The director of photography, Jan Dutton, has been yelling at people all morning. He basically only yells, but you're learning a lot from him. He's got an amazing eye. And that's why you are now watching him argue with the rest of the crew about his plan to set up for a shot. Lions grumble and growl in the background as Jan tries to convince everyone that the best way to film the next scene of the family being chased by the lions is for him to lie down in a trench with camo netting over him. He'd have his lens sticking out to catch the action. Tippi Hedren, you can't believe it's her, and her kids. They all sit in a boat on the lake, awaiting their cue. The wind picks up a bit. There's a slight splashing sound from the paddles in the boat as Melanie Griffith tries to keep it facing the shore. Noel Marshall, his wild hair and manic beard going in every direction, shouts instructions. Action! The lions all run out from behind some boulders and head for the lake on their way to attack the boat. They roar and cry out. It's a great shot as they jump over Jan and splash into the water. Noel wants another take. The lions grumble as they're led back behind the rocks. Action! The lions race by, roaring, crying out. Even as far away as you are, you can feel their thundering paws vibrating in the ground below you. They are massive. Noel stands silent for a moment. He announces it was good, but not exactly what he wanted. Places, people, let's do this again. You notice that the lions are taking their time going back to their spot. The handlers get them settled, birds squawk in the trees. Action! The lions take off toward the lake again, but not with the gusto of the previous takes. They grumble instead of roar. They lope instead of pounce. Just as Cherry, the lioness who took a swipe at Tippi, heads to the lake, Jan repositions himself in the trench. The camo netting shifts a little. You have a cat at home, Pickle. And sometimes when you're in bed at night and the cat is snoozing at your feet, move those feet a bit, and Pickle's predator drive kicks in. She reacts with lightning speed and slaps at your feet. Sometimes she leaps up and pounces. Sometimes she bites your toes through the comforter. You see Jan move under the cover of the camo netting, and you are filled with dread because you know what's going to happen. Cherry looks down at the netting with curiosity. With one swat of her giant paw, she lifts off the netting. And you hear an ungodly scream.
Ouch!
When Cherry lifted off the netting, she also lifted off Jan de Bont's scalp.
Oh!
He jumps out of the trench, grabbing the back of his head as blood gushes out between his fingers. You take one look at the scene and you pass out. You fall to the ground with a thud. You don't do blood. When you come to, you realize that maybe Hollywood isn't for you. Hollywood is full of insane, egotistical weirdos, and you want out. Back to the Dutton dealership for you. So I'm...
The scalping?
I
did
apologize.
not see that coming.
No, nobody
I mean, like,
sees
I
it
do
coming.
blood, I don't do scalps. Like,
Yeah.
That's just a lie.
So Jan de Bont, scalped by cherries. Literally. He was rushed to the hospital where I think they punched his customer loyalty card. He got 120 stitches to put his scalp back on the back of his head.
Oh.
So the scar goes from basically one ear to the other in like this large arch over the top of his head, like headphones line.
Oh, God.
It's crazy. He spent 2 weeks in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Now he's a member of the Hair Club for Men.
Yeah. And then he gets out and he went right back to the set.
I had a friend who had his head flipped open like that by a propeller of a boat.
Okay.
And that's some crazy surgery to have your scalp
it's
put back on.
intense. But Jan de Bont goes back to the set.
And he's a shouter. I have to wonder if his anger helped him. You know, like,
Right?
he's just so mad.
He saw the project through to completion.
Oh, my God.
He was there the whole time.
Baller.
But you know what? The maulings continued. So
until morale improved.
Assistant director Doran Cowper, he had his throat slashed by a lion, and he lived.
God.
Noel got it again and got his legs super messed up, and that's like there's footage of that.
These big cats are like killer whales playing with seals.
Totally.
But just with humans.
Or playing with CEO's yachts.
Yes.
So Melanie Griffith, she got clawed in the face.
Did she?
Yeah, she had to get 50 stitches.
Oh, God.
And see a plastic surgeon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A lot of the maulings were actually used as final cuts for the movie.
Of course, really dramatic.
Melanie's was not. John Marshall, her stepbrother, described the incident as such, quote, "What happened to Melanie is she got clawed, but it was kind of embarrassing because it was only like a 5-month-old lion maybe. A little cub jumped up from behind Melanie and he clawed her above and below the eye pretty close. And their claws are sharp when they're young. We did send her to a plastic surgeon because the rule was if anybody got bites or claws in the face or anything that would show, then you go to a plastic surgeon and get it done right."
That's the rule. They had a plastic surgeon rule.
I love that they have a plastic surgeon protocol.
Yeah,
They're like,
totally.
all right, flip through the pages. And like I said,
Page 2?
the maulings continued.
Morale hasn't improved.
Which made it, like you said, did people quit? That was hard to retain crew members. On one day, like 15 or 18 guys just quit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. And
it was probably the Jan de Bont day where everyone's like, I am so 100% out of here.
Yeah, seeing blood scares people, but seeing a tiger or a lion maul somebody and you're like, okay, got to go back to work. I hope it's not me.
When you add it all up, the final tally, 70 people were injured during the making of the movie.
God.
Tippi said, quote, "It's amazing no one was killed." Like, well, yeah, it's a miracle no one was killed.
Tippi a little blasé.
She also she didn't think that 70 people got hurt. She told Variety, quote, "Maybe they're talking about people who hit their thumb when they were pounding on a nail. In 5 years, I think there were 7 people that were hurt, but not seriously. When we were making the movie, there were a few instances. I was hurt. Melanie was hurt. My then husband was in the hospital so many times they were going to name a wing after him."
There's that.
Yeah. Later, Tippi, quote, acknowledged that it was stupid beyond belief to put her family at risk by allowing an animal with, quote, no conscious or remorse genes to roam free. So the movie's done.
You mean an apex predator?
Yes.
Around your children?
Around your children. Movie's done. So's the marriage for Noel and Tippi.
I don't know how it survived.
I don't know. Well, a year after finishing the movie, they divorced, and the kids were like, they were just staying together to get the movie done.
Wow.
I would have
Show
bounced
business
out.
wild.
Yeah. Tippi and Melanie Griffith, they really downplay their involvement with Roar.
I bet.
They act like it just didn't happen.
If I ever meet Melanie Griffith, the first thing I'm talking
I
to her about.
loved you in Roar.
You know, I love all your work, starting with Roar.
Tippi, like, had an incredible impact on her.
How could it not?
She became a serious animal rights activist.
She wasn't before? That was the whole point.
Well, it just intensified it.
This did it more?
So she still oversees and lives at the compound.
Oh, wow.
And
Shambhala still exists.
Yeah, it's now 80 acres, and it's called Shambhala Preserve. It's populated by lions and tigers that need rescue. So they take them in. And then she has the Roar Foundation, which, like, you're not distancing yourself that much if you call it Roar.
Come on now.
At Shambhala Preserve. And so she's gotten so many awards and been recognized for, like, humanitarian and conservation awards for decades. And you look at her work with, like, refugees, like, she's just always been very giving.
Oh, yeah, I can totally see that. Now, do you think that they, like sell the urine from the lion and the tigers as, like, to, like, help pay for the
well, I mean, just to clarify, that's like a good
preventative for animals to come into gardens.
Yeah, if you want to keep which I don't know.
It worked great when I grew pot.
Okay,
we did it, and then we put it all around. It scared everything except for the subterranean animals.
Do you think that
the moles,
you
the
had
voles.
Tippi Hedren's lion
That's
pee
what I was trying to get to, Elizabeth. Could I be thanking Tippi Hedren for the good lion pee? Because that stuff was stanky.
Be. Did you have Shambhala
That's what you pay
pee?
for.
Is that your ridiculous takeaway? I'd love to hear your ridiculous takeaway.
Yeah, my ridiculous takeaway is lion urine works, and I believe that Tippi Hedren had the lion's best interests at heart, and I'm just wondering how I can support her.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. If we had a screening of this movie that we sponsored at a theater.
I'm so into this.
And
I'll wear a costume.
All the proceeds go to Shambhala Preserve.
I'll get Dave a pith hat, a pith helmet.
That's my takeaway. Thank you for asking, Zaron Burnett.
What's yours, Elizabeth?
I want to have a screening of this movie.
Yes.
Like, I'm desperate for it. I can't get over this movie.
No, I can't either.
And it's amazing, and I love it.
I'm going to get some safari shorts.
Pith, like you said,
show a lot of thigh meat for the big cats.
See, that's the thing is the costuming in the movie. There's one scene where Noel comes out like he'd been taking a nap and he gets awakened by a lion fight. and like his buddy comes in and is like, oh my God, the lions are fighting. He gets up, he's like in short, like underpants. Oh. And that's when he gets attacked.
I thought it was going to be like lion pajamas.
No, they're not getting attacked through clothes. They're getting attacked on like
underwear,
flesh.
Yeah,
like he's
flesh.
Got thigh flesh. He's got like Magnum PI thighs out, plum smuggling, and like I mean, it's almost to the point where when he's running across, and they're kind of like thin fabric, like old. And I want to avert my eyes, like
you feel like you're involved.
Yeah, well, I'm just like I'm seeing too much.
Yeah, exactly. You know if he's circumcised,
and then I'm like, yeah. Yes. And then I'm wondering, like, is that what enrages the lions?
The plum smuggling?
That they're like, please put some clothes on.
Sexual harassment in the workplace is just not appropriate.
Exactly. After all of this.
Yes. What's yours, Elizabeth?
I need to talk back.
Okay, thank you.
Talk back. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hey, Zaron and Elizabeth. I was just reading my Wyoming history textbook, and it was talking about the first woman justice of the peace in Wyoming, Esther Hobart McQuigg. And a historian had said that she was heroic in size, masculine in mind, which made me think of you. And then it also said she was too mannish to influence William H. Bright, who started women's suffrage in Wyoming. So I was thinking about all your old newspapers. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Oh my God, I totally do. What is up with this? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, every time they get a physical description there of a woman.
And too manly to influence a male suffrage. Like, my head's exploding right now of like, I'm sorry, you're not woman enough to fight for your own vote.
What are those flames creeping up the side of your face?
Oh, God. That's it for today. You can find us online at ridiculouscrime.com, award-winning website. We're also at Ridiculous Crime on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. Email us at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. And most importantly, leave a talkback on the iHeart app. You know, read something from an old newspaper. Reach out. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by Crown Prince of Shambhala, Dave Kustin. Starring Annalise Rutger as Judith. Research is by exhausted ER doc Marissa Brown. The theme song is by freaked out LA County Animal Control Officers Thomas Lee and Travis Dutton. Post wardrobe is provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkle Shot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Ben. Let's try that again, this time with more blood on the lion's face, Bolin, and Noel. Sure thing, let me just untie this tourniquet, Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.